Hi there, it's Nicole from Mama Elephant, and today I'm sharing a Halloween scene card showcasing the brand new for July 2017 Plushoween stamps and coordinating dies. These are some fantastic, really super cute critters, all dressed up for Halloween, and I thought it would be fun to create a trick-or-treat style of scene card. And there's going to be some elements not only on the front where I'm going to build the scene, but on the inside we'll add some great sentiments and some additional images. I'm going to start by trimming a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock to A2 sized, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and this is going to be the front panel of the card. This is where all of the scene building is going to go. What I thought would be fun would be to create a house or what looks like a house on the card for these critters to be trick-or-treating. And from last Christmas's MEOWY WOOFMAS stamp set, the door and the stairs will create the basis for this design, and they're going to be stamped directly on the Bristol Smooth cardstock, kind of shifted over to the left a little bit. That's going to leave some room on the right for a greeting and for it to appear that they're walking up the stairs to this house to ring the doorbell for Halloween. So I've stamped the stairs along the bottom edge, hanging off just a little bit. I don't want the top of the door really to be hanging off. I think we'll lose a little bit of the kind of whole feel of the design. So I let the stairs hang off a little bit, and then I've got the door there. I am using the MISTI. This allows me to stamp the image one on top of another as many times as I need to get a really good stamped impression, especially with a larger stamped image like these. Then I'm going to clean these, go ahead and remove this, and work on building up the rest of the quote-unquote house. And what I'm going to do is take one of my favorite stencils, the Tim Holtz bricked stencil, and I'm not even going to worry about masking off the door or the stairs. And the reason why, I have stamped these images on the Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm going to use Distress ink to create the brick look of the house using the bricked stencil and pumice stone Distress ink. But Distress inks are water-based, meaning they are reactive with water. I'm going to be coloring my images with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, which are a water-based marker, and anything that maybe gets on the door frame can be blended over, especially with a darker color of marker, which is what I'm going to be using. So I'm using a pretty, I wouldn't say a real heavy hand, but not a real light hand either. Definitely giving this house the look of kind of gray bricks on white, kind of a dirty gray brick or something of the sort. And there is my house. I'll show you now that I'm going to color in the door frame and the stairs, and anything from the inking of the bricks is going to completely go away. You won't see any of that mess. Just saves a little bit of time by not having to mask anything off. The stairs are in dark gray and light gray. Kind of the look of cement stairs is what I was going for. And then because this is a Halloween house and not a Christmassy themed one, as this stamp set was intended, but I love to mix and match my stamp sets, and I think this is a great way to get some more out of a stamp set that you might already have. I am going to build it with the look of dark gray trim, dark gray door, almost black, I guess I want to say, and then it's going to have some brick beige trim. So kind of it's called brick beige, but I really feel like that color matches the pumice stone Distress ink color really nicely. So when I start coloring that here in a minute, you'll really see how awesome it is. I think it gives you the feeling of autumn, fall, Halloween, just a really nice color combination, and it's not Christmassy feeling, which is what I was trying to get away from. I did not want this door to have that Christmas feeling at all. So here's that brick beige. And these are the only colors I'm using for the door here. I am not going to use the coordinating die, but you could definitely do so. It makes this door interactive. It opens up, so it's going to kind of hinge to the left. You could have another one of these critters, these Halloween critters, peeking out from the door. I think that would be really fun. Lots of different ways to use this. Just going to continue to color these. I love how smooth the Bristol or the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers go on the Bristol Smooth cardstock. You can see they just blend beautifully. So smooth, so easy to color. Absolutely my favorite cardstock for inking techniques and for coloring with these particular markers. So there is my door all finished. Well, I guess I've got that middle panel still I need to do, and I'm going to darken up the edge here real quick. So I want to color in the rest of the door, and then I can add a few little finishing details. I went ahead and took the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen to any of the brick beige areas. Because I only used a single color here, and the Wink of Stella pen is also water-based, it will blend that out. So you got to be kind of careful. It's also going to pick up any color that you color over that. So clean the tip off before you move on to another area. I did lay out some of my stamps from Plushoween, so I had an idea of where I wanted things to go. And I'm going to really quickly take the olive green marker and just kind of flick up from the bottom edge to add in some grass. This is going to create a great kind of grounding element to the scene and make it not appear like the house is just kind of floating out there in outer space with the stairs. I'm going to go ahead and again place this panel back in my MISTI. I'm going to take the critters out for now, and I'm going to stamp the spider web and the greeting that reads, "You are Fang-tastic." This is the front portion of the card. The little greeting almost is like having a house number on the house itself where I placed it. And then, of course, the spider webs are going to give it that spooky Halloween feeling. On a scrap piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, I am going to stamp elements not only from Plushoween, but that little planter that comes from MEOWY WOOFMAS, the same set that the door and stairs come from. And that can go over to the left side of the door, and I can plant some little carrots in that from the Plushoween stamp set. I'm going to need multiple images of the carrots. I did stamp the candy corn, and I ended up not using that for this particular card. I just really didn't feel like I needed it. Sometimes my original idea kind of deviates and detours from what I originally thought I was going to do. In this instance, almost everything was exactly how I kind of planned it out, with the exception I added additional spiders for the inside of the card, and I'm going to go ahead and just leave out the candy corn. Once my images are all stamped, these are for the front. I'm going to take the Stardust glitter pen and go over the spider web to give it that sparkly look of a spider web, since it is stamped with black. And at this point, I really looked at my card front and thought I needed an additional spider web. I really want it to have that spooky Halloween kind of feel, and so I thought having another spider web hang kind of from the greeting would be really fun. You don't even have to have another spider hanging here. You totally could if you wanted to. I felt like a little white space on the card was a good thing, not completely filling up that area to the right with critters. So we'll just hang that little spider web there. I will take the Stardust glitter pen again and go over this, just tracing over the spider web to give it a little bit of sparkle. On the inside of a side fold card base, I'm going to stamp an additional greeting that reads, "The Boo Crew." So on the front it reads, "You are fantastic." On the inside I want it to say, "From the Boo Crew." I thought that would be really super cute and fun. So I need a stamp that says "from." And I am going to use the "from" part of the to and from greeting from Surprise Sentiments. And I'm just going to figure out where I think the "from" is going to look the best. And then I want to stamp another spider web inside here. So this to and from image is actually, or greeting is actually on the same, I could have cut it apart. I didn't. I just very carefully inked up only the "from" part and stamp that right there. And then I will go ahead and add the spider web over here to the left of the greeting. The rest of the images that I'm going to have here on the inside of the card will be another one of the critters and a couple more spiders. Or 3 more, it'll end up being 3 more spiders, 1 hanging from the web and 2 of them down here with the critter. My first image, I'm going to just color this cute little critter in. The colors of Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers I'm using are listed across the bottom of the screen. I ended up stamping and restamping these multiple times. That does not happen all that often, but for whatever reason, I was not loving some of my color combinations. And so almost every image got stamped and recolored, which was kind of frustrating, but I share this just so that if you find yourself struggling at times, it's perfectly okay to have to restamp images and recolor them if you don't love them. And I'm very glad I did, because I really love how this card turned out. So just lots of different little color combinations here. I've listed them across the top of the screen so you kind of know what colors went with what image. This is a great way to use up any little scraps of Bristol Smooth cardstock you might have laying out. I often use my scraps to color in smaller images like this that I'm going to die cut. I use all the bigger pieces for backgrounds a lot. You probably see them all the time in my cards, and so it's so fantastic to be able to use up those scraps with little images like this. Anytime I need to blend a light color that I maybe don't have anything lighter for, like the bunny, the Wink of Stella Clear Glitter Brush Marker is great for that because it's clear and it's just going to be a great blending tool. It will add sparkle, but if you don't want to add water, which I didn't want to add water to these, I didn't really want them to be quote-unquote watercolored per se, and I didn't want them to get too watered down or have the water leak outside of the line. The Wink of Stella Clear Glitter Brush pen is something I like to use there. My planters got some brick beige and a little warm gray to blend it out. Little hat here. I think they're so funny that they're kind of switched hats. One critter's wearing a bunny hat, one's wearing the little fox hat or whatever you want it to be. So fun. Once I have those colored, I'm going to grab the front of my card again, and I always like to go in and add detail to the eyes with a black glaze pen. It's really going to make them pop. The spiders included. I've got several of these. Just kind of be careful. And there's what it's going to look like. Cute little critters ringing the doorbell, ready to say trick or treat. I'm going to draw a little line from the spider web to my spider using a fine tip black marker. Trace over that with the Stardust glitter pen again so it matches the spider web. Color in my final image. Now, this I actually did stamp again too. At first I thought I'd have him kind of hanging off of the edge, and I ended up having him not hang off as much as I thought. It wasn't working for whatever reason. So while I colored him very much the same as you're seeing here, This was another one that I had to stamp and recolor. I think I'm going to blame it on being the end of the week and ready for the weekend or something like that for my reason for all of the recoloring here. So he's got a little vampire costume, cute little fangs. I just love him. I ran my images through a Xyron sticker maker so I could just stick them right in place. Everything is sticky. I think this is something that would be fun if you did a trifold style card, or even just a traditional card with maybe a couple different scenes in it, and included all of these on a sticker sheet, on a Xyron sticker sheet. The recipient could create their scenes however they wanted to. So I felt like I needed one more spider hanging from that spider web, and I'm going to stamp this one directly on the white side fold card base. And this is a good example of how much better the zigs work on the Bristol cardstock than a traditional Neenah cardstock like this is. They just don't blend as well. It's a little hard to see here, but they almost feel like they drag on the cardstock instead of just going on smooth. It worked, and I went ahead and did it for such a small image, but I wouldn't recommend it for a lot of images. Thanks for joining me today for this Halloween card featuring the Mama Elephant Plushoween stamps and dies. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.